Well, another area involving multi-phase plumes has to do with putting carbon dioxide in the ocean. For a number of years, we explored different ways that this might be done as a way to help mitigate climate change. We burn fossil fuels. 2/3 of the carbon dioxide we put in the atmosphere gets into the ocean anyway. The surface ocean is already acidified to the tune of about 1/10 of a pH unit reduction in what it has been historically. The ocean has 50 times more dissolved organic carbon in it than the atmosphere does. Dissolved inorganic carbon, I'm sorry. One asks the question, why not put some of the CO2 that we're now putting into the atmosphere directly into the deep ocean where it could remain sequestered for 300 years or so until we find renewable alternatives to fossil fuel. And the ocean, the CO2 in equilibrium with the ocean takes on many, many different chemical states and phases, gases, liquids, solids, hydrates, so each has a range of densities, so there's a wide range of options for putting the CO2 in the ocean. And the approach that we think is most promising, the goal needing to be to put it in a way that is environmentally responsible, meaning that we don't have hot spots. CO2 and the pH reduction that's caused by that are at least mildly toxic to marine life. So the goal is to put it in the ocean in a way that doesn't leave hot spots. And probably the best way that we have come up with is to manufacture carbon dioxide hydrates. These are slightly negatively buoyant solid particles that are formed with the reaction of seawater and CO2. And if you create this reaction on board a ship that is moving, so you're releasing hydrates from a moving ship that is going perpendicular to a current, a combination of the buoyancy, the ship motion, and the current allows you to paint a three-dimensional swath of ocean. And this provides wonderful dilution. You're changing the pH, lowering the pH by maybe 1/100th of a pH unit, so that's negligible. And if one were to do this seriously, there are several hundred gigatons worth of capacity of CO2 in the ocean, which is more than a decade's worth of current emissions. So environmentalists will have to accept that there's perhaps some risk of acidifying the ocean, but I think amongst all the alternatives, this is one of the ones that makes most sense. Some environmentalists would say that this is not a responsible thing to do. I think the answer to that is to try to prove that if it is done in a responsible way, there wouldn't be hot spots. The amount of CO2 that can fit in the ocean without changing the pH by more than about 1/10 of a unit, which is what we've currently changed the surface pH of the ocean, that is several hundred gigatons of carbon, which is, as I said, about more than 1 decade's worth of current emissions. So there's an awful lot of CO2 that would fit, so to speak, in the ocean. I don't think anybody seriously ought to think of this as the be-all and end-all solution. I think it only makes sense as a bridge. And if I were an authority, I might lobby that this be done only in concert with other serious means to find alternatives. But if that's done, I think it probably would be preferable to, business as usual, continue to put CO2 in the atmosphere. This would reduce the peaks and it would reduce the rate of increase, both of which have been shown by models to cause climate problems.